Hello, guys. Good morning and a happy week for everyone. This is your teacher, Daniel, professor on pedagogical practice during this semester. I have prepared this presentation, guys, in order for you to do, let's say, a short review on the structure of a summary and analysis essay, which you asked the last week or the previous one. Yes. So, as I promised to you, I promised to you a video tutorial in order to explain to you the tasks that we have for today and a short instructive in order to remember the structure. Yes. Firstly, we need to take into account how to write summaries, right? For that, I have destined, let's say, this video in order for you to take into account this structure. Yeah, so let me just give you the information that this person gives. Anyway, I'm gonna give you the video for you to watch it completely, but just to take into account what he says. What is writing a summary? Let's say writing a summary is just a matter of paraphrasing, guys. Yes, it's just a matter of saying, in other words, what the author said, but more concrete. Let's say with no details, with anything. Well, the characteristics are going to be mentioned by Professor Sean here. Yes, so just a moment because. Okay, so there you go. So, Professor Sean is explaining in this case some characteristics that are important for you to take into account writing summaries. Yes, needs to be clear for someone who hasn't read or seen the original material. Of course, if you are maybe in a rush, if you are maybe, let's say, worried about the assignment that you have for the coming week and the reading is very long, um, you will try to look for a summary. Yes, let's say a piece of writing or a composition that somehow explains to you the main details of the big quantity of words and sentences that you have to read in order for you to get rid of the assignment. Yeah, so a summary is the one that facilitates that process. Yes, that's why a summary has to be clear to someone who hasn't read the original material, the material that has these many quantities of words in each composition, let's say. Yes, so it gives the main details or the main points only, right? The other thing is that it doesn't have specific details, dates, or figures unless essential. Maybe let's say one year or one specific name, but it does not have, for example, numbers or data or statistics or studies that are, let's say, exemplars somehow. Yes, so in that case, we try to avoid these details in a summary. Yes. Anyway, as I said to you, you have this video in order for you to listen to Professor Sean, but I'm explaining in other words. I am summarizing, yes, what Professor Sean explains in this video. It maintains good paragraph structure, of course. It usually has a topic sentence and supporting sentence, and it has, of course, conclusion. Right? So it is a common paragraph, the paragraph that you already know by previous reading and writing courses, with a topic sentence, with supporting sentences and concluding sentence, but having into account or taking into account that it does not include a specific information. Yeah, so you remember that, guys. What does the topic sentence take into account in a summary paragraph? It identifies the title, the author, and the speaker. Let's say somehow it identifies the most important part of the reading, the author and the speaker, or let's say the author, sorry, and the work, the name of the piece of work that you're going to cite in the paragraph. Yes, in the supporting sentences, you have the same order, right? Let's say than the original. You can have the same order as the original, but you are going to start subtracting or calling all the details or the data, all the information that has to do with adjectives, characteristics, detailed in terms of, let's say, numbers or specific data information that, let's say, in a summary is not necessary in order to say what a study was about or what the person talked about in certain part of the of his work. Yes. Then we need to take into account that we are not going to use direct quotes. We are not going to take, let for example, we're going to copy and paste. It is not the idea. The idea with this kind of writing is to paraphrase, to say, in other words, what the person said. Yes, and for that exactly, let's say work. well, before we go to that work, we gotta be objective. Yes, of course, we might infer that, and we are not going to add our opinion or our subjective, let's say, perspective towards the topic. We are neutral in this kind of way. As I said to you previously, in order for you to know what is, let's say, saying what the author says, in other words, in order not to specify direct quotes, I have, let's say, tested, uh, or I have, let's say, determined that this page might be useful for you to remember how to paraphrase. Okay, this is called BuzzScreen. I have already used this page with many of you because you have already been with me in previous courses, but maybe the ones that do not know me or hasn't had any course with me. The idea with this page is simple. You just have to play.
Hey, come on, please,
Oh, I'm not sure if you're listening, but
what are you gonna do with these toys?
I'm going to show you. For example, if you don't understand all the segments, so you activate the subtitle, and here you're going to see the sentences. So this is what the person said directly in the video. This is what you can literally listen or hear, and here you have the two sentences that may paraphrase what the person said directly or literally. So you choose one, the one that best paraphrases what the person says, or the one that best says, in other words, what the person said in the segment. In this case, is the option number two. It's time you decided some things, Andy, such as what to do with this point. So in that case, I said what the person said in the black box with the white lyrics. In other words, yes, so that is paraphrasing. So that's why I have determined that you can use this page in order for you to remember, let's say, or exercise your paraphrasing skills before going to the core content of this presentation. Yes, so that is the first part of this summary and analysis explanation, guys. Remember the structure of a summary and analysis essay. This is just in general terms. We have the summary, let's say, well, first, of course, the intro, yes, then we have the summary of the argument, which in this case, as I have explained to you, is to say what the author says, in other words, not specifying a specific date, information, and everything, cutting all the things that have to do with qualification, adjectives, and everything unless necessary, and having just the most important parts, taking into account the same structure of a paragraph. Topic, sentence, supporting ideas, concluding. Yes. The analysis part, well, as I have, well, this is the first piece of let's say writing in this composition. In How the Civil War Began by John Jones, the author argues that the real reason for the start of the Civil War was not slavery, as many believe, but instead the clash of cultures and greed for power. Is the issue addressed? Okay, so you mentioned the topic there, maybe. Yes, you mentioned what I mean, the topic that is addressed, or the topic that is mentioned in general terms as a categorical, let's say, way in the paragraph or in the composition that you're reading, and you put it there. Is the issue addressed in the articles? So you have like the model there to fill out the spaces. The thesis of this essay, the main point of the author, what the author wants to transmit or convey in the composition is, you mentioned that, in other words, using paraphrasing, as I said to you, and the author's main claim is, well, you continue with the rest of the, with the spaces. I have just given you this in order for you to have a model. Yes, you can follow this one, or you can adapt your original one. Yes, but this is just, let's say, a possible proposal for you to make your summary paragraph. Yes, in that case. Now, with the analysis, let's say the analysis part, as is its name, right, is, let's say, the way I perceive the paragraph. That is the first part, the way I understand the organization of the essay or the article or whatever I am reading. Yes, so the organization of this essay, you put the essay title or the essay title, is effective or ineffective because you give your reason why. Yes, the essay's opening causes the reader to open the mind, or let's say, to get impressed somehow, or to get, let's say, unfamiliar with the topic. Well, you give your opinion here. Yes, that is up to you, right? The essay style is, and the tone shown by the author is, ta ta ta. Yes. So in that case, that is, let's say, a proposal. Yes, in order for you to organize your analysis. But as I said to you, you can adapt yours, and you can make it yours. Yes, you can make your original one. But let's say, taking into account the most important or the obligatory elements of an analysis part. Yes, I give you this explanation, or I give you this model in order for you to facilitate this process. Now, for your response, let's say for the last paragraph, I mean, after having analyzed the organization of the composition, and after having had the, let's say, the glimpse or the general view of the composition and the way they perceive it, I of course wrote it. Now I'm going to make these questions for my last paragraph of the composition. Let's say, what is your reaction towards the essay? Yes. What common ground do you have with the author? How are your experiences the same or different from the authors, and how has your experience influenced your view? These are questions for you to start thinking before going to the last composition, before going to the last piece of composition for this essay. What in the essay is new to you, right? Something that you didn't know, and you say, this is something new for me that I did not know, and this helps me, or this contributes to feed my paragraph. Yes, well, you have many other questions. uh, for example, what does this essay make you think about, or what do you like or dislike about the essay the most, about the ideas that the author organized or managed in his composition or her composition. Yes, what will the information be useful for you in writing your essay? What position does this essay support, and why and where you might use this article in your essay? Yes, basically, as I said to you before reading this article, my understanding of this topic was limited. Let's say, in my own experience, I have found this article interesting because, yeah, so as I said, this is a model that you can use in order for you to make your composition, right? Well, the next part of our course is to observe classes, to practice observation, as I have already given you the model, right? And well, the idea is for you to keep in mind the tasks that we have in order to follow the step-by-step class today. Yes, which are this is the one for the ones that are going to stay from home, work from home, or any other space. Yeah, so this is my model. Let's say my short summary of this video tutorial. Yes, observing the first class. Well, we already did this, so we're going to observe another class, but that's going to be in the next weeks, right? That we will have to practice observation, because we are going to start observation very soon, right? I think from this week to the other. And this is the task. This is the productive part of this activity after having received my explanation or my intervention. Let's say after having received my way of adapting the content of the class. Organize this paragraph for this summary analysis and response essay. Take into account the colors and the structure explained. So I send you this. The only thing that you have to do is to organize. That's what we're going to do with the on-site students. They are going to be given the pieces of paragraphs, and they will have to organize it. You do the same with this Word, and you upload the evidence in your driving, in your learning evidence folder. As for example, practice a summary and analysis practice, for example. Yes, SAR practice, or however you can call it. Okay, guys. So so far that is everything, guys. It was a pleasure for me to be with you today in this short, let's say, review class of your reading and writing courses. Yes, which is the summary and analysis and response essay, which is the one that we're going to use the most from here and from now, because you will need this piece um, of writing, or this type of writing, for your seminar, for your research seminar as well. So I think that is going to be good for you to remember how to write, or what to take into account in order to write this piece of of composition, or this piece of writing. Yes. So guys, I'll hope to see you soon. I'll see everyone in class on Thursday, and the ones that are going to be with me today in the classroom. Well, I will see you today at 2 p.m. as usual. Okay. Bye bye. Take care.